How about the Gen 4 cars at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Aiden Norman about to kick us off with the green flag, about to fly 80 laps at the Brickyard, and we are racing. We're back. Riley Wright in second place, Cody McFadden behind him in that 6-4, Brandon Fetterplace rolling in that fourth position, and the birthday boy, Donald Ray. It's his 14th, 35th birthday, and the man comes into turn number 1 right behind the 3-4 of Brandon Fetterplace, car number 5 in position number 5, and the season 4 champion Thomas Andrews behind him. The Miller Lite Dodge now trying to get around the native of Rockwall, Texas. Aiden Norman continues to run away, 8/10 the gap. But how about Riley Wright in car 2-9, who is using everything he can, even almost trying to draft off that 6-2 a little bit. The 4-8 of Tristan Catania just falling off the pace. Two-time champion Tom Sears behind this cluster, including Jason Alexander in the 5-6. Cody Riggs in the 3. Tom Sears in the 14. And the 47 of John Honeybrink. We'll get that fixed. Aiden Norman goes purple, puts in the quickest lap. Elrich George, Ryan Pennell running 14th and 15th in this running order. Let's go to the green flag and see just what happened to that 12 car. Might have got out of shape coming out of turn number 2, not sure. Cold tires, a really hot racetrack. Ryan Pennell still behind the 40 of Elrich George. Reminder, this is just on the opening lap. Both the 40 and the 12 well off pace. Pennell still sitting in 15th. The native of Indianapolis, Indiana. Big fan of the Georgia Bulldogs. Just saving it as he goes along. Drivers only get 3 tire changes in this race, so Pennell definitely on a different kind of strategy. And the 1-2 car. Maybe he's cooking up something different. At the front, Aiden Norman is cooking up a lead of almost 1 second. Riley Wright sits behind him in that 2-9. Cody McFadden, the rookie Cody McFadden, in that 3rd spot. And we got NFL tonight, don't we? Let's see if we can get some of these NFL scores as well. Broncos and Chiefs. Chiefs are up 3-0, 2:55 left at the end of that first quarter. Shout out Toby Estes, a Thursday Night Thunder regular, a.k.a. Peanut Butter in the chat. If you just tuned in, no cautions in these first 3 laps. Tom Sears and Cody Riggs side by side into turn number 1. The number 3 Goodwrench Chevrolet just ahead at 14 car. And they're going to drag race down the back straight. Riggs with the advantage. Coming into this race, Tom Sears sits 5th in the points standings. Cody Riggs, not so much. One of those bluegrass bandits from Greensburg, Kentucky. Cody Riggs right now sitting 11th in the points. Only 2 markers behind Cody McFadden, the rookie McFadden. Up to the 3rd spot, still just chilling. And then his Rookie of the Year rival, Brandon Fetterplace, in the number 3-4. Fetter Place coming into this race sits 4th in those points standings, 1 ahead of the 2-time champion Tom Sears. Fetter Place in that 34, now starting to kind of accordion with the 2-9 of Briley Wright. Briley has lost his pull to Norman in the 6-2. Tommy Withers has found some more speed. The pilot from Virginia in the Viagra Ford right behind that 7-5 of James Kerr III. Let's go on board with the Virginian. The Virginian saving fuel, saving revs. You heard him cut the engine into turn number 3. Have another listen. And he does. He does cut in the engine right into the corner. Withers behind Kerr. And Alexander picking up speed as well, the pilot of the number 5-6 Marlboro Chevrolet. 54.87. His fastest lap so far. He's behind Kentucky's Cody Riggs. Tom Sears just ahead in that 1-4. Tristan Catania getting around the 2-0 of John Honeybrink. And the number 48 Ally Chevrolet around that 4-7. Oh, they're getting even closer. Pulled away just as they were about to trade positions again. Honeybrink being scored as the 20, currently rocking that 47 car. 7-5 of James Kerr comes up right behind that 48. Kerr to the inside in that 75 machine. He's looking for a good points finish today as well. Tristan Catania up to the inside. Kerr's in the wall. There goes Catania around him. The 75 lets out of the throttle. And he keeps it calm, cool, collected in that first corner. The number 7-5 of Kerr. Now off that second corner. He's lost a ton of positions. He's going to come out right ahead of Elrich George. Briley Wright and Cody McFadden are going to fight it out for second place. McFadden chasing down the 2-9 of Briley Wright. The drag race for second place is on 2-9 with the advantage. Briley, another one of those bluegrass bandits. Broncos have the ball in the Chiefs game. And just as I'm trying to pay attention to the score, Cody McFadden gets around Briley Wright. It's the end of the first quarter. Chiefs still lead 3-0. Broncos, well, they have the ball in the, 25? I think. I have no idea. I know nothing about football. Toby, if you're out there, you know more about football than I do, so let me know. Tell me something. And if you're watching this and you got Chiefs or Broncos and you got something on the game, let me know. Let me know what you got going on. Brandon Fetterplace, the rookie, chasing down McFadden in that 6-4 by way of Briley Wright in the 2-9. You've got this cluster of three, this twosome, Donald Ray and Tom Sears. And Tom Sears, who wants to be by himself, but Cody Riggs trying to hang on to the tail end of the 1-4. Jason Alexander behind him in that red and white 5-6. Toby says, I know racing and peanut butter. That's it, brother. (5-6) of Jason Alexander holding in that top 9. Tommy Withers just went green last time around, 55-18. And the Virginian just gets a little faster. Cody McFadden in second place, trying to leave Briley Wright in his dust, but the 2-9 says, come on back to third place. Right behind that 6-4, he just wiggles that tail a little bit out of that first corner. Briley Wright just trying to give him a little bit of space. Just enough rope to pull himself back in that 2-9 up to that 6-4. He's going to have that draft now, but how powerful is it going to be going down that back straight? And my battery's low, apparently. So the 6'4" of Cody McFadden charges still in that second position. Briley right behind him. Briley's got to be really careful not to get too close to that 6'4". Let's plug this in so we don't have to worry about batteries anymore. 6'4" of McFadden still in second. Brandon Fetterplace, happy as can be, sitting in that fourth position. He's just going to wait and see. Donald Ray had a fantastic car last week at Bristol. I mean, this guy was on pace to win. Caught up with some lap traffic last week in the number 5 of Ray. He's going to try this week again to get back into victory lane. The young man's doing well. One position up higher than where he started. Thomas Andrews behind him, the Season 4 champion, trying to follow in that draft. You see Ray just shaking the tail end of the car a little bit. The track is really hot, and these drivers are going to have to take it just that more easy. Aiden Norman needs to take it easy. You see him wiggling the car out of turn number 1. 6'2" Logitech Dodge, 5 seconds ahead of Cody McFadden. Aiden Norman on pace to get his 5th win of the season in 8 starts and looking for his 3rd consecutive Thursday Night Thunder championship. And if this is your first week watching Thursday Night Thunder, welcome. Gen 4 cars, Gen 4 rules, no playoffs. And when they say I like racing the way it used to be, this is racing the way it used to be. Cody McFadden, the rookie Cody McFadden, around Briley Wright in that 2.9, and still advancing Brandon Fetterplace behind the two of them. How do you even say that gamer tag? Jill Billy? Welcome, Jill Billy, to Thursday Night Thunder. And I got to fix that Darrell Waltrip sound right there, because whenever someone new follows, it goes 200 miles a damn hour. And I don't know, it's funny to me. But it's really quiet, so I need to work that sound out. But anyway, thank you so much. Welcome to Rick James TV. You're looking at that battle for 5th place. The birthday boy, the young man, the rookie, not a rookie, but let's say the young hotshot Donald Ray, holding off the seasoned, grizzled veteran, Thomas Andrews. This is the battle for 5th right here. And the young man seems to be leaving the seasoned vet in the dust. The 5 ahead of the 2, 5th and 6th position. Cody McFadden still just ahead of Briley Wright. Brandon Fetterplace getting closer. Further on back, the action keeps on going because Jason Alexander is only ahead of Tommy Withers by 0.4 of a second, and even all the way back to the 13th position. Tristan Catania and Elrich George nose to tail battling it out for lucky number 13. Look at the Bahamian, the native of Nassau, all the way in the cornfields of Indiana, trying to get around the pilot from New Jersey. You can see Tristan's got some damage there on the right front corner of that Chevrolet. 15 laps in, the Caterpillar Dodge trying to get around that Ally Chevy. He's got the draft. He's got the juice into turn number 3. He's going to make it work, though. Can I hit the right camera button? Let's find out. Yes, and kind of. Elrich George gets out to the 13th position. Tristan Catania behind him. He's going to keep that race going off of 4. Look at Catania shake the tail out. There goes Ryan Pennell, just keeping his car clean, as you need to do. We got to fix that 47 car. Shouldn't say 47. Should say 20. John Honeybrink. Shame on John Honeybrink, but that's all right. We'll take care of it. Elrich George taking care of business. He's walking away with that 13th position. Tristan Catania behind him in 14th. The rookies have traded spots. Brandon Fetterplace gets into 3rd. Cody McFadden now sits behind him. When did this happen? Nope, this is literally the pace lap. Let's figure this out here. This is the pass I'm interested in. Brandon Fetterplace in the 3-4 gets around that 6-4 of Cody McFadden. Right in the 2-9, sits in 2nd, and this guy putting the field to shame. The double TNT champion, Aiden Norman, in that awesome-looking 6-2. Briley Wright in the equally awesome 2-9. Fetter Place in the 3-4. How about Donald Ray? Thomas Andrews side by side, almost spilling a lot more than a couple of race cars. Oh, Ray gets in the wall out of turn number 2. And happy birthday to Donald Ray. Here's a slam to your right-hand side. Watch this. Is this the lap prior? Oh, this is way too far back. One more look. Quick moves by Thomas Andrews to avoid the Texan. Shout out to everybody in Rockwall, Texas. Rookie Brandon Fetterplace is in. That number 3-4, We the People Camry, will come down for tires, fuel, everything else that he just might need to continue racing. Jason Alexander goes on. James Kerr III drag racing with the incorrectly numbered John Honeybrink. The Armor All Fusion just ahead of the Holler Boys, 7-5. Trying to get an update on this Chiefs-Broncos game. Maybe my app is just stuck. Let's find out. Nope, still 3-0. It's 11:35 in the second quarter. Chiefs leading. Where are they playing this game? Kansas City, Missouri. Where's Seth Wansing? We know Wansing's a huge... No, he's a Saints fan, isn't he? He's from nearby KC, but he's a Saints. I don't know if anybody... maybe Toby might know if any of the TNT drivers are Chiefs fans. I'll be honest, I don't care, but it's interesting. Cody McFadden in that 6-4. In that second position, as you saw, Briley Wright came down into the pits. Aiden Norman in the 6-2, rolling by himself. The lone wolf out in front of the field. 6.3 seconds the gap between the leader and the rookie. And it's another 5.5 seconds. Back to Andrews in third. Tom Sears in the Super. The two-time champion is in fourth. Now, these two have cultivated a reputation for saving their stuff. Thomas Andrews and Tom Sears. Expect them to go the furthest on this run of fuel. The Drip Diecast and Collectibles Track Facts will tell you 30 to 40 laps is the difference between them. And they'll also tell you that Aiden Norman is coming into the pits. 6-2 on his way in. Some random iRacing generated woman standing on the right. That was weird. Norman is in. Cody McFadden is in. Thomas Andrews, Tom Sears, Cody Riggs is in. Tommy Withers is not. Jason Alexander will also bring his race car for tires, fuel, and everything else he can get his hands on. Shout out to all the folks in South Carolina. Shout out to the South Carolina Gamecocks. Alexander, a big fan. Withers leading this race. He has yet to pit. Both he and Ryan Pinnell have yet to pit. Toby Estes says, don't forget about Ryan. He's been saving fuel for a while. Pinnell in the 12, up 12 spots. Tommy Withers up 6 spots. Withers will come in. Aiden Norman behind him. Brandon Fetterplace, he pitted on lap 17. He just went green. 53.74, the rookie, making it happen. Ryan Pinnell decides he's going to come in with a scary blink as well. Around goes McFadden. The 1-2 at a snail's pace. And he'll come down for his service. Aiden Norman back to the race lead in that 6-2, but Brandon Fetterplace only 1 second behind him. Fetterplace had to have attacked pit road unbelievably well to gain that much time, or did Fetterplace... No, they look at that, 4/10 apart. Let's see if we can I bring up these pit times? This is fantastic. Let's see if I can bring up the pit times between them, or at least the pit lane times. You'd think as long as I've been doing this, I would know the buttons, or at least some of these controls, but I just haven't bothered. There we go. How about your pit lane time? There it is right there. Aiden Norman, 50.7. Brandon Fetterplace, 4/10 quicker, 50.3. If I'm reading that right, and I probably am not. And there it is. That's what attacking pit lane will do for you. But if you now take a look to the left-hand side of your screen and you look at the best time on the board, that now belongs to Aiden Norman. He just went purple, 53.48. And he says, okay, keep up with this rookie. The 6'2 comes off of turn number 4. Brandon Fetterplace, there he is behind him. Already 2 seconds adrift of the race leader. Briley Wright in the 2.9, sitting in third. Jimmy Kerr went green, 54.48. Tom Sears, green, 53.99. Thomas Andrews, 53.84. These guys are getting quicker. There's more rubber being laid out on the track. I'm sure we're going to see more purple times as the evening goes on. If you just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. We're a quarter of the way through this 8th round of competition. Aiden Norman at the front, that's nothing new, but let's talk about rookie Brandon Fetterplace in that 2nd position on track. Those drip die cast and collectibles points tells you he's only 2 points off the podium. He's had a fantastic season, an average finish of 6th so far. Shout out Fetterplace, he's doing his thing. Thomas Andrews, 53.84 last time across the line. This time, 54.37. Ryan Pennell went green too. He's getting quicker still. 55.14. 6'2 of Aiden Norman looking to put him 1 lap down. Briley Wright 3/10 behind Cody McFadden. And this is going to be a fun battle for the 3rd spot. How about Tommy Withers and Jimmy Kerr the 3rd going at it? Let's go on board with these two. Withers got him just by the left-hand side. Still drag racing down the front straight. This is for 10th place, and it's not even a 10th between them. Drag race at the line goes to Withers into turn number 1. Withers still 75 of Kerr will try the crossover out of turn number 1, but he just won't get there, and he'll give Withers enough space, just enough space, not to wreck him. Hats off to Jimmy Kerr for showing restraint, but let's see the draft that he gets out of turn number 2 now. Oh, Kerr just doesn't have the distance to get there quite yet. And the number 6 of Tommy Withers will start to get away with 10th position. Up at the front, Cody McFadden ahead of Briley Wright by 0.8 of a second. The gap between 1st and 2nd, not as big as it used to be. 5 seconds when the green flag pit stop cycle started. Brandon Fetterplace only 4 seconds behind the race leader, Aiden Norman. Ryan Pennell, the lucky dog, first car 1 lap down. Next car on Norman's list, Tristan Catania just coming out of turn number 4. There is the race leader following in his wake. Back to that Chiefs game. Chiefs have the ball with 10:10 to go. They're what, on Denver's 20, if I'm reading this right? Yeah, the last play was 2nd and 1 at Denver's 21-yard line. Chiefs looking to make it 10-0 before the end of the half and keep on rolling. .75 of Jimmy Kerr still behind Tommy Withers. These two aren't done yet. Just half a second between them. And while they get just a little bit closer, let's go right on board with Aiden Norman. He's going to take us for a couple laps around Indy. Calm, cool, collected. Aiden Norman just way too smooth with that steering wheel. He's coming up behind Tristan Catania to put him a lap down. Brandon Fetterplace now 5.8 seconds adrift. Here's Cody McFadden trying to follow in Fetterplace's wake, and the laps over the last 5 show that McFadden just quicker than Briley Wright and quicker than Brandon Fetterplace as well. So we'll see these two fight it out for the second position in just a few laps. Back to Jimmy Kerr and Tommy Withers. These two still only half a second apart. Look at the 75 just kick the car wide out of turn number 1. .50 laps to go. Next time by, drivers should be pitting in the next 8 laps. Track facts say about 30 to 40 laps on a pit window. Dead wrong. About 19 laps. And drivers get 3 tire changes in this race. So tires are going to matter, because if they're coming in every 19 laps, they're going to want to stretch these next 2 to 3 pit stops to about 21 lap stints just to ensure their last set of tires won't be as worn as the set that came before. Now, obviously, a caution could change all of that, but it's gone green for all 30 of these laps so far. Tommy Withers also went green. 55.16, the Virginian puts in his quickest time. Thomas Andrews now being bothered by Briley Wright out of turn number 4. Here was the pass. Andrews on Bright into turn 3. Now again, is Briley playing the long game? Is he saving those tires as far as he can? Drivers that did stretch it as far as they could. Ryan Pennell pitted on lap 20. Tommy Withers also pitting on lap 20. Race leader Aiden Norman pitting on lap 19. And he's got the speed to make that strategy work for him. Still 4/10 though. Thomas Andrews and Briley Wright trading blows. Tom Sears by himself. Briley Wright staying just within the distance of that 2 car. But again, Briley could be trying to save tires. You see how smooth he is off that corner. Tommy Withers and Jimmy Kerr separated by 1.2 seconds. Cody McFadden 3 seconds behind Brandon Fetterplace. And again, just to see over the last 5 laps, McFadden, last time he was quicker than Fetterplace by half a second. It's a lot. The lap before that, a 10th. Look at that, lap 27, 4/10 quicker than Brandon Fetterplace. But look at Thomas Andrews, who's quicker than Cody McFadden. Look at the pilot from Weehawken, New Jersey. He's coming up to the rookie. And he says, son, come on back. 2 car, really wide out of turn number 3, just as I'm talking about him, and he gets in the wall. Commentator's luck, right there on the 2 car. And I'll take the heat on that one. I just messed up Thomas Andrews in turn 3, but how about this? Now we got a fight as Cody McFadden decides he's going to come into the pits. Briley Wright now with a run on the 2 of Thomas Andrews. And for some reason, the left side of the racetrack is completely white. I got to fix that. That is not right. Thomas Andrews in that 2, still in 3rd. Briley right behind him. Cody McFadden finally comes down into the pits. If that doesn't tell you just how long it takes to get at least stopped for tires and fuel. Andrews in that 2. There's Briley Wright in that 2.9. Tom Sears 1 second behind him, though. Possibly these two trying to save their stuff. McFadden coming in on lap 32. An average of a pit stop every 16 laps. And Cody McFadden is going to suffer at race's end if he continues with this trend. Ryan Pennell expected to pit in about 6 laps. Cody rigs off of turn 4, as is Donald Ray. And the birthday boy decides he's going to put another slap in that wall. can see the big damage on the right side of Ray's number 5. Cody Riggs up ahead in the 6th position. It's a 3-second gap between them. Briley Wright in the 2-9. Jason Alexander has had an incident. Let's go to the 5-6. He jumps to pit road immediately. Oh, the Marlboro Chevy just gets really wide out of turn number 1. And he just decides he's going to park it. Alexander maybe just hit the wall and decided he's had enough. Yeah, there he is, just grinding in the wall in turn number 4. Just comes off the racetrack. To answer your question, local, yes, I am. I am watching that game. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm glad you're here, man. Alexander just slow off the corner. Yeah, and he just bit it. And the Marlboro Chevy will get into the wall off of turn number 1, and he just decides, you know what? That's it. So Jason Alexander in 14th jumps to the pits. Aiden Norman in that 6-2, leading by 11 seconds over rookie Brandon Fetterplace. Cody McFadden, who was chewing up the time on Fetterplace, came down into the pits. He finds himself in the 11th position. Last car on the lead lap, and there is the race leader, Aiden Norman, looking to put him another lap down. Fetterplace in the 34, sitting in second. Thomas Andrews sitting in third, 7.7 seconds back of Brandon Fetterplace, and still waiting for all the leaders to come down pit road. Local, update me on that Chiefs-Broncos score. Let me know what they got going on down there. I think the last I saw, the Chiefs were about to go up 10-0 on the Broncos. They were marching down the field there. Fetterplace in that 3-4, just ahead of Andrews. 7.6 seconds, the gap. Briley Wright in the 2-9. He's behind Tom Sears in the 4. Right in the 2-9, Sears in the 1-4. 1 second between them, and this is the fight for the 4th position. Let's go on board with Briley Wright. Trying his hardest to just get up behind that 2-4, the 1-4 of Tom Sears. Fetterplace decides he's going to come in. The rookie giving up second place to Thomas Andrews. Tom Sears just 1 second behind him. Jimmy Kerr decides he's going to leave pit road. John Honeybrink also on his way out of pit road. Cody Riggs is coming in. Brandon Fetterplace about to come to a halt. Aiden Norman still out in front, car 62, a 22-second gap back to Thomas Andrews. It's just impressive. Every week it's impressive. Tom Sears coming up behind Tom Andrews. Briley Wright 3 seconds adrift of the podium. Cody Riggs comes to a halt. Cody McFadden will overtake Cody Riggs. He's in 6th. Tristan Catania just behind McFadden. And Miss Moneypenny cheering on Aiden Norman, as she does week after week. Gotta say, Aiden's got some loyal fans out there. Feder Place back out on the racetrack. And there is Aiden Norman about to put Brandon Feder Place a lap down. But Feder Place with fresh tires surely will outrun Norman here. Now, Norman is extending his run. He last pitted on lap 19, as did Tom Sears. For them, if the race stays green as it has done for the first half, they're going to have more fresh tires, or I should say fresher. Is fresher a word? They're going to have fresher tires at the end of this race. Norman decides he's going to come in. Tom Sears in that second spot, half a lap behind Norman. Norman will come in just a terribly slow pace, 58 miles an hour. And here's Tom Sears at 140 plus. You saw him just feathering the throttle. Is he out? No, he's really just on an incredibly light fuel run. Check this out. I think he might have just been letting Donald Ray by as well, but he's being very ginger with the throttle. Tom Sears in first, just feathering the throttle, possibly gambling on a yellow. I'm not sure. Just seeing how far he can take the tires, the fuel maybe. Aiden Norman back out on the racetrack, only 9 seconds behind. Look at that. Let's say 193. Like, I flipped that around, right? That did not say 193. Tom Sears is in. Aiden Norman exits turn 4 at 163 miles an hour. .195, 96, 97, 198 miles an hour. Here's rookie Cody McFadden. Now, just blipped 200 there for a minute. How about McFadden getting some good speed into turn number 1? This is the battle of the rookies. These two fighting it out for the second position. McFadden and Feder Place side by side. McFadden needs the points. Feder Place looking to overtake that 6-4 out of the second corner. And there goes the 64 in the wall. Did they make contact? Feder Place in the 34 getting away with virtually no damage that we saw. And then McFadden in the 64, a huge chunk out of his race car. Taken out by the turn 2 wall. We stay green. What happened? Contact between them. The 6-4 gets loose out of turn 4. You just saw it there. Loose out of the corner. One more look if we can get a better look here. You can just see the end of the 6-4 car. 6-4 wiggles the car. He goes light. He goes into the wall. And the rookie, Cody McFadden, having one of the best races of his season. That just sucks for him. He's in the wall. And McFadden is now in the pits. Race leader Aiden Norman went purple last time around. 53-23. Tommy Withers now trying to race Tommy Sears. This is the battle for the 8th spot. Withers in the 6, Sears in the 14, trying to race it out for that 8th spot. Aiden Norman right behind him and looking to put them a lap down. John Honeybrink will now be the first car a lap down, and Tommy Withers next on the list to be that lucky dog, and there they are racing between them. Second place, Brandon Feder Place, 8.5 seconds ahead of third, Thomas Andrews, and Briley Wright 3 seconds behind him. Here's the gap over the last 5 laps, 3/10. Briley was quicker. On board again with the 29. Norman in the 6-2, still leading. Unsurprisingly, Jimmy Kerr decides he's going to come down into the pits. Tommy Withers will overtake him for the 8th position. Aiden Norman looming in the distance, trying to put Withers that next lap down. Although he did just go green, he put in his personal best, 54.89, the Virginian, with his fastest lap of the race so far. Tom Sears only 2 seconds ahead, even closer still. Cody Riggs and Donald Ray. Here's their gap over the last 5 laps. Donald Ray chewing him up to the tune of a second a lap on board with the Texan. This will be quick. Ray is right there, ready to make that move. But he won't try this into turn number 1. The number 3 of Cody Riggs stays just far enough ahead to keep the 5 car at bay. But Donald Ray wants a piece. Tom Sears in the distance. Oh, that 5 can taste it. This is the battle for that 5th spot. Car number 5 wants to at least get up 1 place higher. Cody Riggs looks like he wiggles off the wall. Donald Ray will come all the way down, almost into the grass. Donald Ray will get away with the pass for 5th place, and Cody Riggs will now sit behind him. Aiden Norman, 21 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. He last pitted on lap 40. Expect him to pit at about lap 61. Brandon Fetterplace pitted 2 laps earlier than that. So that means Fetterplace is either going to have to stretch these tires, or he's going to have to try and short pit, try and undercut Aiden Norman somehow. But a 22-second gap is just insane. Looking at that Chiefs-Broncos game, if we can pull this up. It is 10-0 Chiefs over the Broncos with a minute to go before halftime. Andy Reid looking like a retired police officer out there. Where are they playing? Kansas City? Yeah, we talked about this earlier. They're playing Kansas City. 1.2 seconds, the gap. Cody Riggs getting just a little closer to Donald Ray. Did the 5-car wiggle out of the corner? Fourth and 26 for the Chiefs. They're going to punt it off here with a minute to go, so the Broncos definitely going to be moving at a fast tempo to try and put some points on the board. Tom Sears, 1.5 seconds behind Cody Riggs. Sears is up 4 places from where he started. Riggs with visible damage on the right-hand side of his race car, and maybe Sears can smell an opportunity. There's Ryan Pennell running in the 11th position. Ray, Riggs, Sears running 5th, 6th, and 7th. It is a beautiful racetrack. If you have never been to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, this is your sign. This is me telling you to go. You've got to come here. It is not only one of the world's most famous race circuits, it just, you can smell the history when you come onto the racetrack, and it just, There's an electricity here that just can't be matched. iRacing puts a beautiful, beautiful interpretation on this racetrack, but your very first time that you come here, it just makes your hair stand on end. 1st and 10 for the Broncos. They're going to get a first down and more. 41 seconds to go in this second quarter for Denver. These two still drag racing, still fighting it out, seeing what else they can come up with. 14 ahead of the 3. Donald Ray ahead of the both of them. Ray in the 5, Sears in the 14, Riggs in that 3. Riggs behind that 1-4, Ray in the 5, just ahead too. Riggs in that 3, just chasing down that 1-4 of Sears. But how hard is it going to burn these tires? Again, we're only on lap 52. Sears last pitted on lap 41. Riggs pitted 3 laps prior to that. So Cody on the back end of the pit stop strategy there. Tom trying to get on the front foot. He's in the 6th spot. Expect Sears to be much quicker than his rivals at the end of this race. Broncos still running that hurry up. 30 seconds to go in that second quarter. Aiden Norman still leading this race. Nothing surprising. Tom Sears getting around Donald Ray. Did the 5 car get into the wall again? Keep your eye on that number 5 Exalta Chevy. Well, and this is a lap prior here. Still a lap prior. Maybe Donald Ray just actually did get... Looks like he just came off the wall incredibly wide. Maybe just lost momentum. Ray still holding his own. He's in that 6th spot, but Cody Riggs is right behind him. 0.6 of a second. Now the gap. Half a second between them now. Caution free so far at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Aiden Norman ahead of Brandon Fetterplace by 26 seconds. 5 seconds the gap between Fetterplace and Andrews. And from Thomas Andrews' perspective, that last time around, he was quicker than Fetterplace by 0.3. Look at the consistent lap times there. Andrews really moving. Starting to chew up Fetterplace, but it looks like he went really wide out of turn number 2. He might have just lost the focus, lost a little bit of the advantage that he was gaining. We'll see what the clock says this time through. You hear Fetterplace just cutting the clutch in. And that time, Thomas Andrews almost 0.2 slower than Brandon Fetterplace. So a little bit of breathing room for the rookie while the Season 4 champion sits behind him. Broncos come up with nothing. It's going to be 4th and 12 for them. They're going to punt it off to the Chiefs. 20 seconds and counting left. And the Chiefs are going to have it on their own 34, it looks like, with, 15 seconds to go in the second quarter. So that'll be the first half there. Cody Riggs and Donald Ray really close. Riggs almost getting right into Ray. On board with Cody Riggs now. These two are going to fight it out. I need a zesty beverage. Let's go on board with Cody Riggs. Greensburg, Kentucky, and Rockwall, Texas going at it. Tommy Withers just on the front end of Aiden Norman, and Withers would like to stay on the lead lap, but if he does go a lap down, it is 16 seconds back to John Honeybrink. Hopefully enough time for Withers to get that lucky dog. It's going to be 24 laps to go when Aiden Norman crosses the line, looking for his 5th win in the first half of this TNT season. Norman just behind the 6. Ray wiggles just a little bit. A couple weeks ago, we just saw Ray get into a little bit of action there. Well, enough action to take him out of the race, wasn't it? Ray stays clean, keeps his car clean on his birthday. Aiden Norman getting around that 5 car in the 6 of Tommy Withers. Now next on that list. Withers in 7th. Cody Riggs not that far ahead of Withers. That's only 0.8 from the back bumper of Withers. Ray gets into the wall out of turn number 4. He's going to take it into the pits. Oh, good God. That's way too loud. I apologize for that. Holy crap. That's wild. Yeah, I probably got to regulate that volume, don't I? Nice camera shot, though. But Tommy Withers rolling in 7th. There's Cody Riggs about to go a lap down. Aiden Norman having to avoid Riggs. Just losing a little bit of control there. Riggs now the lucky dog. He and Tommy Withers are going to battle it out for that lucky dog position. 21 laps to go this time by. Caution free so far at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Chiefs and Broncos at halftime. 10 points between them. Chiefs leading at home. And you got to love that Arrowhead Stadium. Those fans are incredibly passionate, and for a very long time, that franchise was less than what the fans expected it to live up to. And you gotta love it if you're a Chiefs fan. That's 100% certain. But definitely a good time to be a Chiefs fan as well, and a Lions fan. Can't talk enough about the Lions fans. Cody McFadden, who is in 13th. Is, I believe, a Packers fan. Well, I don't believe. I know he's a Packers fan. McFadden's a Packers fan, and I'm a Lions fan. So I'm going to make fun of Cody McFadden for the rest of the season, and he knows this. Meanwhile, while I'm over here talking about stupid football, green flag pit stops have started. Anybody want to talk about this race? Thomas Andrews is in. He's got some damage on his race car. No doubt he's going to want to get that fixed. Yeah, a lot to the right front corner there. So Andrews is in. Tom Sears will be in the 4th position now. And there goes Sears in the 1-4. This could very well be the last pit stops these drivers make. It's gone green for the better part of 60. For the better part, for all of 60 laps. Just quite literally, no cautions up to this point in the race. And I believe Aiden Norman has, no, he hasn't led every lap so far, but pretty damn close. Brandon Fetterplace is in. He's 37 seconds behind the race leader, and Aiden Norman will look to put Brandon Fetterplace a lap down. Briley Wright also coming into the pits. Tom Sears will stay out. This is where it gets interesting. Tom Sears will run these tires to the very end. There's the race leader. Norman is in. Ryan Pennell, the native of Indianapolis, he's also in. So the race leader's in. Does Sears stay out? I think his only play is to gamble for a caution at this point. Something that hasn't happened in 60 laps in this race. Could be his only move, but crazier things have happened, and that's why we love racing. Sears on the outside of Catania. He will clear him with ease. Norman still motionless. Briley Wright on his way out. Aiden Norman will surely be on his way out shortly. Surely he will be on his way out, and there he is, 6-2 car on the move. Tom Sears on the way in, so the 14 car will come on down. Here's Tommy Withers in that 6. The Virginian hasn't seen victory lane since Daytona Season 4. He will come into the pits. He might at least see the podium if he plays his cards right. Norman getting out to the grass a little bit. Is that the 3 of Cody Riggs? It is indeed the 3 of Cody Riggs with Jimmy Kerr 4 seconds in the distance. Brandon Fetterplace back on the racetrack. He reclaims 2nd. Thomas Andrews will reclaim 3rd. Will Briley Wright get back into 4th? Sears is on his way out of the pits, on board with the 2-9. Riley Wright sitting in 4th. Thomas Andrews in that 3rd spot. 4 seconds behind Brandon Fetterplace. Over the last few laps, that's been the gap. Now, obviously, last time through, the pit stops affected that. But here we go. Thomas Andrews, 1/10 of a second quicker. Brandon Fetterplace only 4 seconds ahead. Riley Wright and Tom Sears separated by less than 1 second. There's the 2-9. Just ahead of that 14, and they're going to fight it out for that 4th spot. Jimmy Kerr the 3rd decides he's going to come into the pits. John Honeybrink in the incorrectly numbered 47 Ford will overtake him for 9th. How about Ryan Pennell? Has not put a foot wrong. The pilot of the number 12 Georgia Bulldogs Ford in the 10th spot. He last pitted on lap 60. Honeybrink pitting on lap 56. These two, however, 1 lap off the pace, if my math is right. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Jimmy Kerr's in 9th. There's Ryan Pennell in 10th. So Ryan's going to need to do just a little bit more work to catch Jimmy Kerr, who is 1 minute ahead on the racetrack. Let's go back to a battle that's a little bit closer. Briley Wright and Tom Sears separated by a second. Sears just went green, though. 53-83. Tom Sears needs to get as many points as he can. The championship just starting to fly away just a little bit. Tom comes into this race 5th in the standings, 60 points behind Aiden Norman, who's on course for his 5th victory. There goes the 6-2. And fans at home, if you love some of these paint schemes, such as the 3 of Cody Riggs, the 2-9 of Briley Wright, maybe even the 2 of Thomas Andrews, 48 of Tristan Catania, there's one we love, 40 of Elridge George, that Caterpillar Dodge was recognizable. Any of those paint schemes and even more. If you just want a little piece of nostalgia, a little piece of NASCAR memorabilia, head on down to Drip Diecast and Collectibles on Facebook. Shout out to Drip Diecast and Collectibles. They are bringing the points and the track facts for tonight's race. And they have an excellent selection of NASCAR memorabilia on their Facebook. So a little bit of holiday shopping for you would not be a bad idea to check these guys out over at Drip Diecast and Collectibles. Aiden Norman, 32 seconds ahead of Brandon Fetterplace. Tom Sears, half a second behind Briley Wright. Pinnell, the Indianapolis native, the hometown flavor, he just got into 10th. He just went green, 55.09. Tom Sears wants 4th. 3/10 is the gap between Sears and Wright. Sears, the race's second hardest charger so far. Jimmy Kerr's up 7 places. Tom Sears is up 6 places from where he started, and Briley Wright's got work to do. Lucky number 13 laps to go next time at the stripe. Tom Sears and Briley Wright still fighting it out for that 4th spot. Chiefs got a field goal just before the half, so it's 13-0 Chiefs at halftime. Tommy Withers getting around Cody Riggs. Jimmy Kerr the third just went green, 53.98. The track gets faster still. 4/10 the gap between those two. Tom Sears with the leader looming in the distance. Just trying to get around Kentucky's Briley Wright. 2.9 ahead of the 1.4. And it's going to be a dozen laps left when Aiden Norman crosses the line. Talking about green, Jimmy Kerr, 53.98 last time. Tristan Catania, 54.65. Both of them personal bests. Briley pitted 1 lap prior to Tom Sears. Tom Sears coming down on lap 61. Briley Wright on lap 60. Sears going to the inside, and he's not going to wait to go the distance to get around the Kentucky driver. Sears to the inside. He's got 4th place away from Briley Wright. While the battle for 2nd just gets a little bit closer. Brandon Fetterplace in that 3-4. He's got that dark blue Dodge behind him. Thomas Andrews in the TNT Miller Lite machine. And then 17 seconds behind, there is 4th, 5th, and the race leader, Aiden Norman. Cody Riggs has come into the pits in that number 3 car. Briley Wright shakes the tail out. Now you can just see, watch this once more. Watch the way that these cars fly out of the corner. Look at the angle between the 14 and the 2.9. Really hanging it out. You see Aiden Norman also hanging it out, but the car just on a rail. Again, watch the black car, the white car, and then the blue car. You'll see that 3rd car so much more controlled out of the corner. Just smooth. Aiden Norman just outrageously smooth through the corner. He leads Brandon Fetterplace. You just saw him go by. 3 seconds the gap between Fetterplace and Andrews. Briley Wright, 3/4 of a second now behind Tom Sears, and the leader looms in the distance. Cody Riggs in the 7th position. There's Withers in the 6th position. Almost a full lap between them. Donald Ray rejoins the race in the 12th spot. 10 laps off the pace, but good for the birthday boy to get back out there, get back into competition. Shout out to Donald Ray, and shout out to the fighting spirit. He just keeps on going. You gotta love it. Patiently waiting for the Chiefs and the Broncos to come back from halftime. Thomas Andrews sitting in 3rd. The Season 4 champion looking to climb up in the points as well. Andrews comes into this race 6th in the point standings. There's the man who's 5th, Tom Sears. And they're separated by only 4 markers. This is going to be important in that championship. Briley Wright 1 second behind him. And there's race leader, Aiden Norman. Cody Riggs, Jimmy Kerr the third, only separated by 3 seconds. This has been the gap over the last 5 laps. Riggs and Kerr. And again, Cody Riggs just coming out of pit road. So that last time around, Cody Riggs undecidedly 23 seconds slower than Jimmy Kerr. It'll be 8 laps to go next time by for these drivers. Well, how about this time by? Because there's Aiden Norman right there about to cross the line for 8 laps to go. Tom Sears, is he losing the advantage to Briley Wright? 6/10 is now the gap between these two guys. Sears looking to keep his advantage to Thomas Andrews, who's 11 seconds ahead. Sears has got to keep every point that he can. And there's Briley Wright breathing down his neck, coming to 7 laps to go. Watching this Thursday night game, they're saying the Chiefs have had 2 straight first half shutouts. There's Briley, 8/10 behind Tom Sears. And Aiden Norman continues to put on a masterclass, en route to his 5th win this season. And the rest of the schedule just looming large for Aiden Norman. Next Thursday night from the Darlington Raceway. And the Thursday after that, I know that says the, let's say the 12th and the 19th. Because those dates are definitely not right. Today is the 12th. Next Thursday is the 19th. So the 19th and the 26th of October at 8:40 Eastern. We're going to have the Gen 4 cars just tearing up that racetrack. Aiden Norman, Brandon Fetterplace, 1st and 2nd, but separated by almost a full lap. There's the race leader, Aiden Norman. In turn number 3, there's Brandon Fetterplace about to enter turn number 1. More than a half a lap between them. Aiden Norman about to come to 6 laps to go. Briley Wright not done with Tom Sears yet, however. While the race leader continues to eat up the gap. Chiefs put the game back on. It's 2nd and 4. They're going to throw it out to the left-hand side, and they're going to pick up a first down. Just over 14 minutes remaining for the Chiefs. Andy Reid looking like a retired cop on the sidelines. I think I made that joke earlier, but, I mean, he just does. He genuinely looks like a retired cop just on the sidelines of the game. But, hey, hell of a coach, right? Briley still 7/10 behind Tom Sears, while Aiden Norman just bides his time behind these two. Let's go on board with the race leader. And again, you just see the other 2 cars ahead of Aiden Norman just really hanging the tail out. Norman still controlled, still calm. He stretched his tires all the way to lap 61, driving an incredible race. 6 cars left on the lead lap. Tommy Withers in that number 6 Ford. 5 cars left on the lead lap. Withers is the lucky dog. He's the only car 1 lap down, as a matter of fact. 8, almost 9/10, still the gap between Tom Sears and Briley Wright. 3 laps to go next time by. Chiefs have 1st and 10 on their own 47. They're going to cross the halfway line, and Travis Kelce will be tackled on the Broncos 41. So Chiefs now on the Broncos side of the field. 12 and a quarter minutes remaining in that what is it, third quarter? It's now the third quarter. Briley Wright, 0.6 behind Tom Sears, and these two are going to have an awesome finish here. Tom up 7 places from where he started, same as Jimmy Kerr in that 75 Chevrolet. Chiefs 4-1, and I was just asking myself, have the Chiefs lost yet? But again, I'm just gonna keep bragging about the Lions. For the rest of the NFL season, I'm just gonna brag about the Lions because they're doing so well. Not trying to be a jerk. I honestly forgot that the Chiefs got beat by the Lions. I expected them to be undefeated, but hey, what can you do? The Lions are fantastic. But the Chiefs are really taking out their frustrations on Denver tonight. Broncos have not scored a single point in this game. Russell Wilson looking dejected on the sidelines, or I don't know if he normally looks like that, but he's looking pretty sad. Oh my God, the Chiefs almost fumble it. They're going to try a flea flicker all the way to the right side of the field. 2 Broncos defenders will collide midair, and it will end up incomplete. 2nd and 10. Chiefs up 13-0 with just over 11 minutes to go. I'm clicking wildly, not even paying attention. Briley Wright, still the same distance behind Tom Sears. Aiden Norman's going to get in the wall out of turn number 4. A rare mistake for the leader with 5 miles remaining in the race. What happened to the 6-2? Well, it ain't over till it's over. Norman catches the wall. I mean, it looks like he's going to be fine. He caught that wall hard. He catches the wall again out of turn number 2. White flag out next time by. And did the Chiefs just score? No, but they got close. They're on the 6 or 7 yard line. Aiden Norman trying to do a good impression of somebody who wants to throw the race away. Something is wrong with that 62. Two and a half more miles for Aiden Norman, and if he can keep it off the wall, he'll keep it, well, he'll keep it in victory lane. It will be his 5th victory this season. Just unprecedented numbers so far, breaking records all over the place. The pilot of the Logitech Dodge just has to keep it moving in the right direction. He keeps that foot pinned. He's got enough fuel to make it to the end. If he can keep it right off the wall, Norman looking for his 5th win, and he's got less than half a lap to go. En route to his 3rd consecutive title if he continues to race like this. Nobody has stopped him yet. It will be 5 wins this season at none other than the Brickyard. Aiden Norman will win round 8 at Indianapolis. Brandon Fetterplace in 2nd, 10 seconds ahead of Thomas Andrews. Tom Sears only 4 seconds ahead of him, and Briley Wright, he's got just another half lap to overtake Sears in that 14. Off turn number 2, the 2.9 has got to stay right in the draft of the 1.4. Briley sounds like it's just had enough there. Tom Sears in that 1.4. He comes off the corner. He will come home in the 4th position. Briley Wright, is he out of gas? Briley could be out of fuel. Tommy Withers, there he is in turn number 3. Briley just might have enough to crawl to the end. Here's Withers, though. This is for the 5th spot. This is for a top 5 position. Briley will not make it. Briley Wright stuck. Tommy Withers comes on down, and Aiden Norman will celebrate. Fans, don't go anywhere. We're going to have podium interviews in just a moment. Aiden Norman, Brandon Fetterplace, and Thomas Andrews, your top three. On the podium now with our top three, Thomas Andrews in that number 2 TNT Dodge coming home with the bronze medal. Andrews, next week into Darlington with a bronze medal around your neck from Indianapolis. You're starting to climb the ladder.
Yeah, Darlington's going to be tough. I was just happy to have a good finish today after missing last week. So, Darlington going to be tough, but Indy was tough and came out with a top three. So, we'll see what we can do in Darlington.
Congratulations on third, tonight's silver medalist, Brandon Fetterplace. The rookie keeps on impressing. Brandon, you're going to head into Darlington third in the points, only 7 markers behind Briley Wright. What's your secret? You're keeping up with some of these veterans here in TNT, and you're even beating some of the champions too.
I think it's a little bit of luck, to be honest with you. But, I mean, for now, it's just trying to keep the car clean, trying to not get beat too bad by Aiden, and just seeing where the cards fall.
So far, they've fallen in a pretty good place. Third in the points so far, Brandon. We'll see you next week at Darlington.
Thank you. See you there.
Fans at home, if you loved any of the paint schemes that you've seen tonight, especially some of the more retro ones, get your hands on them. Head on over to Drip Diecast and Collectibles on Facebook. Get your hands on your favorite piece of NASCAR memorabilia. Not even a diecast if it doesn't have to be. Not a diecast race car. They've got some of the most awesome gifts that you can get for yourself or one of your loved ones, especially for this upcoming holiday season. So get your hands on your favorite piece of NASCAR memorabilia over at Drip Diecasts and Collectibles on Facebook. Tonight's winner for the 5th time this season in 8 races, Aiden Norman. You will head into Darlington unofficially with a points lead of 346 to Briley Wright's 292. Well, and the obvious question, Aiden, 6 wins next week. What's going to happen?
I mean, that's the goal, Rick. You're not going to like this stat. You may already know it, but I have won the last 2 Darlington races we've done. So going for 3 in a row, that's the goal. 3 seasons in a row and then 3 race wins in a row, obviously, as well. And yeah, I think 6 wins in 9 races would be a pretty good little stat there.
On pace to break the all-time wins record in TNT as well. We're going to have to put some serious money on your head for anybody who beats you next week. So I guess if you're listening as in you're a fan, look out for that. We're literally putting a price on anybody who can beat Aiden Norman next week at Darlington. We got ENEA coming up on Monday night. I have no idea where the hell we're going to be. But I was going to say Gen 4. No, those next-gen cars are a riot as well. Where the hell is ENEA going to be? There was just an awesome race at Chicago Street Course. Kansas. So Monday night, ENEA is going to be at Kansas, and then next Thursday, you'll be right here for the Gen 4 cars at Darlington. Talk about a throwback race. That's going to be a thrill. So until that next one, everybody, please stay safe. Do take care of each other, and we will see you all around